Test, test, test. Hey, Blaine. Aloha. How are you doing? Nice. Yeah, that time difference is substantial. I always forget that. It's crazy. Right now, I'm just decanting a bunch of stuff that I've gotten that I haven't shared with the guys. So, just finished up Saffron Rare from Amarud, or Amor Oud. Um, this one that I've talked about, Serena from Nectar, Olfactif. Got a couple of different things. This one from the most recent video. So kind of just stuff that I've been chatting about on the stream to send over to them so they kind of can get a better picture of it. I What'd you end up liking out of the box? I'm interested to hear your thoughts on a bunch of those. I do want to know your thoughts on Conjar, because that was the one that I still find that super funny that Austin and Neil had such visceral negative reactions to it, but I myself and Saga quite enjoyed them. So quite enjoyed that one actually. The Noya ones are very nice. Yeah, there was a couple of the Noya ones I distinctly remember. One of them is, I think, a Tulum Junglescape, I want to say, was the one from Noya that I really enjoyed, which I think that was the one that I described as kind of like you're walking around in a jungle and you kind of come into a clearing near some like moving water and stuff, if I recall that one. Let me look that one up really quick, just because I think that was the one. Oh, sorry, that's a Simone Andrioli one, which is the Noya one that I was thinking of. Jungle Serenity. That's the one. Yeah, fresh, spicy, woody, aromatic, patchouli, earthy. Yeah, yeah. There was a couple of those Noya ones that were real nice. Yeah, yeah. Jungle Serenity. That's the one. Yeah, Tulum Junglescape. That's a Simone Andrioli fragrance. Same guy who did like Malibu, Party in the Bay, and all that stuff. But that one I recall. Those bottles are gorgeous too. Those Noya bottles are really something. Yeah, and I've started to see some of those Floraikus pop up on Olfactive Factory or Olfactory Factory for a discounted price. Of course, they don't have the. They're all testers, so they don't have the actual cool caps, unfortunately. But um, yeah, I recall. I think it was Tea for Two I enjoyed from that one, and then I think we had Underneath the Umbrella or Sharing an Umbrella, something to that effect. I believe that one as well. Need to actually kind of go back and see in that original live stream, which is the ones that I kind of was gravitating towards. Yeah, cool. I mean, a cool bottle does sell it, to be honest with you. Like, and I think that there's certain bottles even where they can be cool, but also like rather simplistic. Um, like I'll show you one. This one that I picked up. I went the other day. I went to the Scent Room in Dallas. I drove out there, and I picked up a new one that I'm very happy with. It's a nice one, but the bottle is pretty. It's just a very clean, well thought out bottle. It's nothing like crazy, you know, comparatively. Like this thing, this bottle is fantastic. Super weighty, heavy glass, and then it's painted in the interior. Because again, for this house, this kitchen's gonna smell insane. This house, this it's kind of difficult to see. It's a little. There we go. Kind of, you can get it because it's all bee related. So it's this iconography, this really cool kind of image of a bee. So this house, I think, is severely underrated. This one, Olfactive Factory, also a nice pickup. You might even this one could probably actually be good for you. This is the that summer oud. It's that tropical mango oud that I've been talking about a bit. But this one, this brand, I'm gonna have to look up how to pronounce it before I make a video on it. My Pew. It's called Ambery Glove. Yeah, this bottle's insanely heavy. Like it's got some weight to it. It's even more than like something like this. But this one, it's super clean, kind of just bottle design, pretty understated, but I like it. It works really well, and the atomizer is like insane with it. It's like pressurized, and these ones like it's a retail for like 160 for a 50 ml for a niche like this, and smells incredible. Super like this really delicious kind of ambery, but like this cinnamon. And there's Divana's the top note, so you get that kind of like sweet booziness. I was trying to find ways to describe it where be like if the best way I could kind of describe it is if you took like the stronger with you DNA, cut the sweetness back, but it's kind of in line with that, and then made it like what would a niche version of that be? Yeah. This one, yeah, I think if you get an opportunity, you would want to check that one out just cuz I know you like your ambery kind of sweet stuff going on. But yeah, the clove in it is really nice. That's what kind of sets it apart a little bit. Kind of that clovey nuance that you don't always get in a bunch of different fragrances. So, but yeah, no, cool bottles. Only cool bottles today. And Michelef bottles, dude, they're so pretty. Just ridiculous. This is one, if you've never tried this one, you could definitely Eden Falls, you would want to rock this where your weather, because we're at the probably about the same, like I don't know, I don't know, we're at 96 today. So 96 with it'll go up to 100, and then humidity's not like the worst today. Well, yeah. Yeah, 38% humidity. Yeah, give the Conjar a try. They had some thoughts about that that did not resonate with me at all. It was kind of funny. I enjoyed it a lot. They felt it was one of those things where the opening, I believe Neil has always described it as the opening of the fragrance is too difficult to justify when the dry down happens and that it smells good in the dry down, but to sit through that opening kind of mid stuff to get there is not worth it for him. I liked the opening, so I don't know what that says about me. Conjar was one where I was joking. I was like, I might just take that one out of, and I might just take the Conjar out of the box. And Neil was like, I'll just send you another one. I have another one. I said, okay. So I will say you probably want to put that on strip first before you go on skin, but I wouldn't want you to have to deal with that fragrance all day if it's not something you're interested in, because that brand, they're potent. They're potent. Yeah, the opening is a little funky. I will say that there's certain other ouds that I have found to be a little bit more kind of fecal. Um, and a little bit more challenging in my estimation. Like I like King Blue from Amouage. I think that is I think King Blue is more funky than Conjar personally. Um, but you know, it's all relative, man. It's what you like. You know, there's people that think that anything with a heavy um, note of, you know, like lemon, they immediately think of it as cleaner. So, but I have a question for you though. Is there any do you have do you know of any like Hawaiian based niche houses that you're like kind of that you've had an experience with? Like it was kind of nuts. I just recently, like I was just scrolling through Instagram and I've been finding like American niche houses, but I found like there's a niche house in Austin, Texas that I had no idea existed. Not Gallagher Perfumes, which was I thought the only one. But yeah, there's one that apparently is there that I might kind of check out a little bit more. But I'd be interested to hear like if there is Hawaiian kind of niche fragrances. All right. Oop, there it goes. Gotcha. Yeah, because I figured, you know, with tourism being such a big aspect of Hawaii, that there would be something where there'd be like an artisanal house that, but I also know like shipping, you know, that can present a challenge when it comes to not being in the 40 continuous states. It's like the same thing in Alaska when I've visited there a couple of times. There was like a really good like brewery that we went to, and I talked to the guy that owns it, and I was like, "So, well, lower 48, when does that happen?" He's like, "We have to scale quite a bit more." But I'm telling you, man, I'm telling you, I don't know what it is with my skin, but it just played really well. It I can understand that though. I can understand that the chicken manure aspect of it 100%. That's funny. There we go. Should be back now. Um, yeah, I was saying this is the one that we're starting with, but or we're doing now. But I think something even as simple as like this kind of bottle cap almost makes it look like a Toscavat, but um, would be perfect with it. But yeah, yeah, Conjar, I get that. I get the idea that it's like I would not be caught dead with that particular scent on me. Chicken manure, that's it's a very specific kind of manure as well. So let's see. This one's not wanting to cooperate. Yeah, I can understand that, because especially because for the most part, when you tend to post like your what you're wearing and stuff like that, it tends to be a bit more. It definitely. I don't think I've ever seen you post something where it was explicitly a very obvious kind of like tropical sort of thing going on. But that makes sense, It's because I would assume that oftentimes, like most of those types of white floral aspects, like that's what people associate with Hawaii, right? Like everyone would want to smell like they're wearing a lei, you know. I get that. That aspect. I think it's interesting of like terroir when it comes to what fragrances people wear. I think that that's a neat kind of aspect to it, where you want to. One of the fragrances I ordered the other day because I smelt it at scent room. It's another Panadora, so it'll be my third one, um, and it's from the brand. It's called Scandic, and I'm looking forward to actually doing a video on that one because um, I like the idea of a Scandinavian perfume that isn't trying to do what it seems a lot of Scandinavian perfumes do, where it's um, like I think Byredo is the biggest culprit of it, where they do this nonsense where the Scandinavian identity is minimalism. I don't know. Minimalism to me, if you look at a lot of like Scandinavian art, like Norwegian artists and stuff like that, minimalism is not necessarily the first thing I think of. Yeah, yeah, where everything starts to smell a bit like whatchamacallit, suntan lotion. Yeah. I remember that was actually like one of the first decants I ever got was Tom Ford's Soleil Blanc, and and I probably need to revisit it just now since it's been a number of years. Um, that's like kind of funny that it costs so much, but um, but yeah, yeah, the one that did actually, I don't know if it's something where I would be interested to try it more. It's just like cost preventative because I think it's a little ridiculous at the price point. But Anello from Renoir, um, had a really nice pineapple note. Like, it was sweet, but not candied pineapple. It was like you got a really ripe, juicy kind of pineapple. But $290 for 50 ml of a fragrance like that, I don't know. There just seems to be a bit of a disconnect in regards to price versus value. Um, if it was somewhere in the 100 mid 100s, I think that that's totally cool. It's the same thing like with these. I really like everything about this house. I'm a big fan of it. Like, again, I own 3 of them. Well, 1 coming in the mail, but these I think retail for like 275. But discounters you can get them for like 150. So, good for consumer, not great for the house, but I think also that one probably costs that kind of upwards when you're talking about it because of where it's coming from. But yeah, I think Scandic will be cool because Scandic as a perfume, I enjoy the scent a ton. I'm gonna wear that one. It's kind of fruity floral, something that's definitely my wheelhouse. But I'm going to in the video kind of talk about it because the owner, who's also the perfumer, is originally from Syria, I believe. So he's a Syrian immigrant to is it Sweden? I want to say it's Sweden. Um, and so that as a narrative is really interesting to me of someone who is not from the place that they originally or is not originally from the place that they live, but then is making perfumes in regards to the way that they perceive um, the area that they're in, which I think is actually really cool to see that kind of aspect to it. So yeah, yeah. I don't think I've actually have I done over 200 on a bottle yet. Trying to think. Yeah, I guess one Argos fragrance is the one that I have spent the most on because I got it directly from them at retail, and that one was a 200, which I don't know. I'm kind of I've kind of cooled on Argos as a house a little bit just with all the AI usage stuff is kind of giving me a bad taste in my mouth a little bit with a house that purports to be about art and how much they tend to use generative AI with marketing stuff on the website. It's weird. So I don't know. I've kind of cooled off on them. I've been contemplating actually selling my bottles just because I haven't worn it um, since that. Um, like it was around Father's Day and then Memorial Day sale. Their emails were kind of weird to be getting from a house that's all about artistry. You know, it's a bit disappointing, but I think it's important to you know um, yeah. I mean, that's my problem is I really enjoy I really like Adonis Awakens, and that's one I wouldn't sell just because I got that as a gift for my birthday. Um, but for the foreseeable future, I don't really have any plans on purchasing from them. Um, I think there's also an aspect where obviously you have to assign value and things of that nature based upon what you're looking for in a product. And there's aspects of Argos that I don't know. It's just not really something I jive with as much. And I think you can find interesting, really quality fragrances that are, at least to me, a more worthwhile purchase for even like a lower price point. So that's kind of the thing is that's been part of it. And there seems to be no shortage of fragrance companies referencing Greek mythology as their main kind of thing. There's a few that are even like actually from Greece, so you're like, oh, okay, that makes more sense. But but yeah, Greek mythology definitely seems to be a through line for a lot of these places. Don't want to do that. Hmm. Brian sent me a couple unique luxuries that smelled really nice. I think it was Beverly Hills was one of them, and then a Beverly Hills exclusive smelled really nice. That's like a sweet kind of tobacco fragrance. And then Actiniz, Actiniz. That one was interesting. I want to spray that one again and kind of wear it a bit, just because it was intriguing. It's supposed to be like this kind of aquatic-y, like pineapple thing, leathery kind of thing as well. But it goes, it is a it's an interesting one. It's an interesting one. Let's see here, Mashamaro. Hmm. Okay, yeah. Hmm. I might need to try that one again. Trying to remember if that was one. There's there was one that I recall. Um, the one that I think that stood out to me from the box as like I think um, my least favorite is there's a Black Cliff fragrance in there. Um, and I don't recall the name of it at the moment. Um, but it did not sit well with me. I think it's the only one in there. I want to say, was it Hidden Hills? No, I probably would have liked that. Yeah, there was one in there from Black Cliff that I recall going, this is just not for me in any capacity. Hey, Austin. Yeah. Um, but yeah, it was funny, Blaine. I was talking with a guy that owns a niche fragrance store near me, and I remember I made the comment when I was smelling something where I said, "Oh, it smells nice, but like I wouldn't want to wear it." And I'm like I could if I was in a room like this, I would enjoy the smell. And his response to me was, "Then you don't like it." He's like, "That's fine. You can just say that you don't like it." He's like, "You're not gonna hurt my feelings or the fragrance's feelings by saying like, 'This is nice, but I would never wear it.'" He's like, "Then it's not nice enough." He's like, "If it can't fulfill its purpose, which is to make you smell a way that you wanna feel," he's like, "then it's not good. It's not good." And, I think that was one of the reinvented fragrances I was talking to him about, and he was like, "Yeah, it's fine," you know? It's like that's a interesting way to put it, but all right, let's get this one done. Austin, you're gonna like this one. Sacred Bond is not fine. Is which one's that one from the house? Ah, yes. See, I didn't try this one. This is Sacred Bond's the one that like everyone's obsessed with though from the house, I thought. It's like the big one, right? Cough syrup, gotcha. Hello, Saga. I've never met you before. Um, yeah, Ambery Glove also, I think for me, because it's got that like clove and cinnamon stuff going on, it's spicier than RM5, but like it's an amber. Um, the back of the box is funny. This is also the brand Austin that has that one called Oud Baguette that I was like, oh, you might like it with bread and roses. I haven't smelled Musk Ravageur, but it might be like this. But let me explain to you why I think it might be like Musk Ravageur by reading the back of the box where it gives a description of the fragrance. A gangbang of sizzling spices, scandalous jasmine, hardcore musk, obscene vanilla, and fiery tonka. Amber Glove strips the soul bare and scorches the senses. A highly flammable fragrance, tempting even the purest, corrupting and urging you to commit dirty deeds. Spray with caution. Because I was like, why is this called Ambery Glove? And now, yes, scandalous. Ellie, this is fun though. This is fun copy. Um, this is fun copy. It's definitely not taking itself seriously. Yeah, yeah. I think that it probably will smell similar to Musk Ravageur, but as it's just as a standalone fragrance, this stuff I was like I wore it. I got into my car out of the store, sprayed it on the next day, and it's like 100 degrees, and you go outside for a minute, and I'm like, I don't care if I get choked out when I go outside because I'm gonna enjoy this stuff. So I do, yeah. I keep saying the Frederick Malls. I went to Neiman's to try them, but like they were all kind of cleared out. It was the Neiman's itself was like cleared out. There was like three Amouage fragrances. The only fragrances that had a ton of stuff were the ones that were kind of because they have like a central fragrance area where you can kind of go and move around from Montal and Xerjoff and stuff like that. And then that was yeah. Well, and that's the thing is like that was kind of my concern with it is I was wondering how long that Neiman's was going to last. And you know, I was there on an off day and there was a lady cleaning, but it didn't feel like, oh, everything's been put away because it's being cleaned. It felt, like I said, the King Blue topper was definitely a women's Amouage fragrance top. It was not the men's ones. So it was a little janky. So hopefully, you know, those people still are able to keep going for the sake of the employees. As a corporation, I think unfortunately for most of those high end retail locations, it wouldn't shock me if you see those basically disappear sans really big kind of regions. But yeah, that's the thing. If the Neiman's in Dallas is doing that, you know. But yeah, I'd be interested to see what happens like with Dillard's because like Dillard's has some of those. They don't have a Mouage, but they have like the MFK and they have Creed and they have PDM. Our Dillard's also actually has Thomas Cosmolan as well. Oh, Neiman's was acquired by Saks? Hmm. That is a little nuts. There we go. All right. If you do end up loving this one, you can already see you're going to have to get your own. The rest is for me. Let's see here. Because I know at uh, the scent room they were like, "This is the last one we have of this one." So I'm like, "Okay, I'll take it." Because I was going between that and a what is it called? Delusions of Grandeur from Le L'Epoque. L'Epoque. This thing. Let's share that one. This one was also very pretty. American House, niche one, tobacco, apricot, rum kind of thing. Similar vibes where it's like that kind of ambery, but tobacco and leather, so a bit sweeter. And again, it's got saffron. So saffron and rum, it's kind of a thing. But this one, a couple of things from this house were actually really, I actually enjoyed a lot. There were some things where I was just like, eh, but Dopamine Rose smells really great. but it also just smells like Delina and Angel Nova kind of thing. Inner Child is this like clean kind of perfume, which again, like I've said before, I'm more like a perfume maximalist, but it was very pretty. It was very pretty. I actually like this one quite a bit. Had a little bit more oomph than kind of some of the other ones. I think it's a little bit of this downward portion here. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, those ones I could see myself getting Delusions of Grandeur. Um, I like that one. Um, and yeah, there's a couple there that I actually liked quite a bit. That, but that one I was like when they were like this one because this one pricing wise was almost the same, um, and it's there was more juice. Liked it a lot. Yes. Yeah, the hot take first impressions at Sun Explorer, yeah. Especially like I don't know, dude. The thing that I think will be funny um with La Primavera, Austin's favorite. Yeah, that one's not great. That one's not a great one. We didn't like it either, but um the Sun Explorer thing that I will probably like I'll probably giggle a bit is if the ATH booth is selling his fragrances at the prices that Max Aroma normally sells them at, where they're like 200 some odd dollars to, like 250, that kind of stuff, which is, I'm pretty sure, inflated comparatively to what the MSRP is normally from him. So I think that would be interesting if that's, I think that might be a crime, Blaine. I don't even think that that's actually harassment. I think that's a crime. Just out and out one of those. Um, yeah, like that's what I'm worried about is getting not worried about it because I'll just be like, okay, smell them, go, cool, and then we'll leave. But uh, yeah, I mean, I still need to smell hard candy elixir. I want to smell it, you know. Um, there's a few like yours. What was it? Is it Daddy is the one that you really liked? That was your favorite one. It's the one you made a video on, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, you can find it on Max Aroma. Like they'll pop up and yeah. I haven't smelled any of his at all. Yeah, because I remember you were like, it's this fragrance. It's the one that I can't tell people what I'm wearing when they ask, oh, wow, that smells great. What are you wearing? Daddy? But yeah, I placed my last order until Scent Explore basically um, the other day. Because I'm just gonna go on a no buy until then, with the caveat of possibly samples or sample sets. I do still want to start piecing together um, the American Psycho video. The American Psycho video that I want to make kind of necessitates me having the fragrance American Psycho from, what is that house? I believe it's 1969. Um, just because that one, yeah. American Psycho, if you haven't seen this one, the notes for this one are kind of the idea, I guess. It's on their website, it's a bit more expansive. But when you look at it, it's kind of, they talk about the idea of the fragrance being um, supposed to kind of like recreate things about the film. But when you look at the notes, it kind of looks just sort of like a fairly traditional fragrance from the 90s. Like, other than like maybe Gaiac Wood's kind of like odd, but carnations in there, pine, sage, that sort of stuff. The problem that I think in one of the ideas that I want to like kind of talk about in that one is I think the idea of making a fragrance for Patrick Bateman or like that represents Patrick Bateman like is kind of antithetical to everything about the character because he wouldn't wear that because people wouldn't know what it is. In addition, niche perfumery would be out of the reach of a sociopath. Like they wouldn't be able to really wrap their heads around something artistic like that. And the whole idea of like Bateman gets juxtaposed all the time that his taste in music that he's like hyper into is all like the most bog standard like pop music. So it doesn't really make sense. Like again, um Patrick Bateman wouldn't wear Aventus, he'd wear Aventus Absolute. Or he would wear something that has enough of a through line for people that has brand recognition, but also would be something where the whole premise of it is that like with the business cards, like Paul Allen's got the crazy card and Patrick Bateman thinks he's hot shit, and then he sees Paul Allen's card and that's what sets him off, right? So the idea that Patrick Bateman Patrick Bateman would be the type that would be like, oh, everyone's wearing Santal 33 nowadays. I'm wearing this, but it would just be something else from Le Labo. Um, but yeah, there's also actually like they talk about the fragrances as he wears um, in the book in more detail, and it's kind of funny because one of the ones that he's really big into, if I'm not mistaken, is Paul Sebastian Fine Cologne, and you can now any wears that as like a status symbol. You can get it on Amazon like a 6.7 ml bottle, splash bottle for like $25 now, which I think is like one of the most apropos things to actually close out a video like that on is that the idea of status that he is chasing the whole time. Now the fragrance that he believes gives him this status is something you can buy for $25. So I think that that's an interesting through line for this. Okay. Austin, are you still there? Have you smelled this? I want to make sure. Have you smelled Wave Child, Austin? Because I was gonna. Okay. So no Wave Child. I was thinking because I'm sending a bit of that to Brian. Let's see here. I was gonna send you some of. Have you smelled Siesta from Ramon Monregal? Okay. And then Eden Falls. Have we smelled this? Like pushing aside the one-off stuff here because I've got one-offs for Brian. Ooh. This one is like, I think it's super neroli, orange, refreshing. I think it has aquatic aspects to it without being ocean aquatic. It's like you're on an island and you got into the interior of the island and there's a waterfall. Um, musky as well, a little bit of vanilla in there kind of as well. I don't get the vanilla as much. I do. It's a musky one. I really like this one. But yeah. That one I think I'm actually going to feature. I think I'm going to make a video where I'm going to talk about summer scents and like have it as an aspect of it's still summer weather for me until November usually. Um, but I'm gonna probably feature that in like a video where it's like, hey, summer, but later. Hey, Open Lake. Um, yeah, but Gearlawn Heritage. I am looking forward to watching your Dries Van Noten video. I need to do that. This is the one that I've been wearing today. I think I'm actually gonna. I was contemplating kind of making a video uh, that's a bit more focused on. Um, yeah, I think this is a 6.7. No, 200. Yeah, 200 mLs, and it's fire hose. Um, this thing, I'm honestly thinking of like kind of putting a video together where it's going to talk about the idea of like if I was in high school still, what would I wear since I like, I'm a teacher, etc. And like feature fragrances that it's like try to feature stuff that isn't a dupe that is also attainable. So like I still maintain that I think the best fragrance for a young man in high school or even like a young professional is Ralph Lauren Polo 67. I think that it's attainable, it smells nice, it has a pretty distinct lasting power, the EDT, and I think that that would be interesting, and I think that this is kind of in the same vein where this is around. I think I got this for like $40, and it's 200 mLs of juice, and it lasts pretty considerable amount of time. But something, yeah, yeah, like I would say Polo Red, CK1 Nico Sculpture. Yeah, basically just do a video where it's like, because that's the thing is I've had students that are like talking about like wanting to buy PDM fragrances and stuff, and I'm like, why? Um, like, why do you want to spend that much money on yourself when you're like, it's like, well, I got my first paycheck, and you want that all to go to Percival? Okay, yeah, that's up to you, but something a little bit less involved than this video was. Take a little bit more of a break, but still has that same kind of idea of not needing to rush through everything. But yeah. All right. What next? What is everyone getting? Everyone is getting Ramon Monregal Siesta. This is a fun one. It's true. There is 100% that aspect of the flex thing. Um, and I understand. Like, I get it. I get that because, like, I remember being a kid in high school. I remember being a kid in high school and wanting people to like me. Um, I do think by the time I was like a junior or a senior in high school, I definitely cared a lot less about that. Um, but I was also wearing Burberry for men, so I did not care about other people's perception of me. Well, and then by the time my senior year, I guess no, I probably at that point would have been Polo Red, possibly Burberry Touch. Let's see, let's smell off. Yes, it's like, oh wow, dude, you're wearing an Armani fragrance. You know, I think one of the funniest stories that I have is when I the only reason I ever wore Burberry Brit. So it was Burberry Brit, which I remember liking. Um, but I went to it was like a Nordstrom's. I had been going to Nordstrom's Rack, and that's where I bought Burberry for men because it was always at the discounters there. Um, and then I remember going to an actual Nordstrom to look for Burberry. I was like, "Oh, my friends, I think we were going there just because one of my friends had to get some clothes." And I was like, "Oh, okay. Well, I need like a new bottle of Burberry for men, so I'll just pick something up." And we went in. No, it was a Nordstrom's Rack. That's what it was. I used to get Marshalls. I would get Burberry for men. Nordstrom's Rack is where they had Burberry Touch or Burberry Brit. And I remember going in and asking for Burberry for men, and they're like, we don't have that, but this one is from Burberry. And I was under the impression that like Burberry for men was just like it was over, like they didn't have it anymore. That it was gone as a fragrance, and I was like, oh, this is the new Burberry fragrance that they're going forward with, which is Burberry Brit, which I liked. I think I was like the bottle's cooler. I can say that for certain than the Burberry for Men bottle, but quite a bit different. I think Burberry Brit's like a rose fragrance, if I'm not mistaken, which also explains a lot about me. Sweet vanilla. This is Burberry Brit for women. Let's see here. Fresh spicy rose. Yeah. 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 I definitely Burberry Brit, and then college and starting work, I believe it was mainly Burberry for men again, and then Burberry Touch. I also liked Burberry Touch, but um, this thing is not cooperating. I'm very mad. There we go. Okay. But yeah, the idea, I think it's so funny that back then I was just like under the impression that like companies only had a singular fragrance that they sold, which is funny to think about. I'm like, oh yeah, there's just like old versions. Thank you, Open Leaked. I don't know if I've always had good taste, but I could make the comment that I don't know if I have good taste now. But you know, I'm just kidding. I have good taste. We know that. eh? You play your crowd. That's what you do with this stuff. You just it's like, hey, what do you stuff you like? Actually, that's a lie. That is a lie. I definitely don't play to the crowd, considering I made an entire video about this Um, so yeah, no, 1725. I'm decanting a bit of that for Brian. I'm just gonna spray this on my hand though. This might be a full wear tomorrow. Oh, openly, I don't know. Have you heard of this brand? They seem to be a little bit more readily available in Europe. That is partially me in decanting. I picked this up a couple days ago, but um, you might want to check this out. They have one called Oud Baguette. This stuff is beautiful. This is like I was kind of blown away smelling it the other day. That they were okay. That's where I have heard the name before, and I will be going back before I make my video so that I can pronounce it correctly. But yeah, yeah, that's wonderful. So a bunch of those fragrances really I liked a lot. Like Bloody Neroli, I thought was super fun and interesting for like a neroli based fragrance. Yeah, like Ambery Glove. The only one that I didn't get to smell because they were out was the whiskey one, which bums me out. Yep, because everyone, yep, everyone says the whiskey one's amazing, and I'm like, well, of course it is because it's a whiskey fragrance. But they were out of that one, so that is one I definitely want to try. But yeah, Ambery Glove, I really liked that one. The tuberose, yeah. Can you speak to because Austin was asking me, I'm gonna end up sending it to Austin and Neil and stuff. How much does Ambery Glove, if you recall, remind you of Musk Revigeur? Just because Austin was asking, and I actually haven't smelled Musk Revigeur. Just because I think he was mentioning it's like, vanillic ambery clove is a Musk Revigeur kind of thing. But okay. I mean, he's gonna smell it anyway, so he'll end up figuring it out himself. Yeah, if you want to give it a shot and let us know. Sure. I mean, it's up to you. If you're wearing a bunch of other stuff, I don't want to impede you or anything like that. He's gonna smell it either way, and he can come up with his own estimation because he has Musk Revigeur. So, unless he sold it, but I don't think he did. Austin, you didn't sell Musk Revigeur, right? I feel like that one that's on your Mount Rushmore. I'm pretty sure it's like Musk Revigeur, Mega Mare, RM5. See, I need to try it then. Yeah. Of course you have. So you have sold it. Green cold spices. Yeah. It has Ambery Glove is beautiful, I think, because it has like almost a fizziness from the spice. The kind of clove. That clove does it. Like it reminded the first, and I think the reason why when I sprayed it on, I was like, oh wow, this reminds me of clove cigarettes. Is partially, I think, what it was. Hi. Mm, those black ones. Forgot what the brand was, but clove cigarettes. Hey, it's Brian. This one, Austin, Brian, I think you guys are really going to enjoy this one. This one surprised the heck out of me. This Siesta one. It's very pretty, but I think that y'all are going to enjoy this one. It's this kind of starts citrus gourmand esque, not as much as like bake or something would be, but definitely has some vanilla kind of gourmandiness. But then the iris in this is actually really lovely. Siesta is a good name for it. It's actually pretty calming. This one, I don't know if y'all have any experience with this thing. Um, I'm thinking of sending it to y'all. I'm also thinking of like selling this because I don't know. It smells like a really well executed, like if Hawass was a company that produced fragrances for $250. It's kind of like that. Um, yeah, this is Ajyal, Ajyal, the one that has like four different marine notes or water notes in it. I don't know. It's Yeah. I got it because I got it for $80. It's definitely not Invictus. It's better than that. I got it for $80, which seemed insane price wise from Scent Angel. They were doing a thing. It's a tester, so it doesn't have the cap, which but it just yeah, three notes. Yeah. I don't know, dude. Yeah, I that was kind of my thing, Open Leak. That was like it does that thing where a bunch of people like online where I was like, oh, this will be like a nice kind of like aquatic, a really, high density aquatic kind of freshy. And I guess it is, but I think because of I think you're correct in the way that it just jams so many amber wood notes into it for something that everyone claims is like has so much performance. Like I recall one, not a ton of projection coming off of it, which seems insane. And then I lose it pretty pretty quick into the wearing for me. And I know it's not because it's weak. I know it's because I think my nose is just getting cooked. Hey Joel, Laverne into the sea. But yeah, I ended up. I'll show y'all what I ended up purchasing since it will be my last one until Scent Explorer. But I'll end up making a video of it as well, just because I ended up getting to smell it in um, whatchamacallit, um, the scent room in Dallas. Lovely, lovely place. Um, this bad boy, I might be a fan of this house because this will be my third bottle. Um, so it's a Scandic, and these are the notes. Beautiful, fresh floral fruitiness. It's very nice. And it's got some intriguing aspects to it. You can kind of see it there. We got some carnation, we got some camphorous notes kind of in the dry down. I and myrtle kind of in there as well. There's some interesting choices going on with that one. I'm kind of happy with that one. Ah, you can't see it. Add to stage. There we go. Yeah, there you go. This is my first time. My apologies. Yeah. So Scandic from Panadora, one of these. So I I'm excited for that one. Can you see it now? Yes. Yes, you can. Yeah. This one I think is going I'm this might be kind of a daily drive for this one for me for quite some time. I really enjoyed the smell of it. Yeah. Again, this brand like cuz stuff like this, this it has some nuances that are make it similar to BR540, and again, that would be something that would not be an open leaked kind of staple because again, it is pretty amber woody intense. And then like Aqua Dora is kind of derivative. There's a few that I was smelling that day. Um, that brand that like made me even more so really enjoy it. But that I think that that one's cool because it's called Scandic, and the idea behind it was it's the perfumer and house owner making this fragrance that evokes the idea of Scandinavia to him. Uh, Nordhaven was the only they didn't have Nordhaven, unfortunately, at Scent Room. They had the other one, the Iris one that came out. That's very nice too. The that one that came out with Nordhaven. They didn't have a tester of the Nordhaven one out, and because I wasn't planning on Daydream was the other one that I smelled. It was nice as well from the new ones. I wasn't going to ask them to break out a tester of Nordhaven because I wasn't going to buy it. Because you can get Panadora fragrances on discounters for less than half of what they cost for retail. So I wasn't going to have them break out another tester of that. Um, but Scandic, what's cool about it is it's someone from he's I believe the perfumer and house owner is Syrian, so he's a Syrian immigrant to Sweden, and it's his estimation of what Scandinavia is, which I think that's way, 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 way cool. To get that type of idea where it's like an immigrant in this new area, what is the perspective that they offer without having sometimes like the baggage that we associate with certain things where when you say um yeah, Daydream's very pretty. I think you would like Daydream. It smells natural. The Scandic smells natural as well. It's not super amber wood kind of heavy. But I think that it's interesting because I'll be honest with you, I think, as I've said before, brands like Byredo and stuff that try to go for like Scandinavian minimalism make this claim that Scandinavian art is supposed to be minimalistic, um, which I don't know. I don't like it. Uh, I mean, you know, one of the most famous Norwegian paintings is this one. Um, hold on. Uh, Nothing about this screams minimalism to me, and this is arguably one of the most famous Norwegian paintings. So yeah, the idea of like everything has to be white and everything is a musk and everything is, um, you know, but yeah, yeah. This is how I feel when I think of like actually Scandinavian things. And perhaps it's a coloration myself. I'm more of like a black metal kind of Scandinavian person than than IKEA. But I still maintain IKEA actually has some humor about it. Um, but yeah, 1996, but that was inspired by Christopher. Yeah, yeah, no. Openly, I'm not a fan of a brand that still actively thinks it's acceptable to have a racial slur in one of their fragrance names. Like you can say that that's ridiculous, but yeah, like I don't know, dude. It's weird. It's a weird thing to have in your brand. I watched a video with the wife where it was basically a deep dive about Byredo, and a lot of that brand comes off as a bit. It is not an artistic endeavor; it's a money making. Yes, thank you, my dear. Understitch, her video on Byredo as a fragrance brand, it it makes it seem that Byredo isn't really an artistic endeavor as much as it was from the beginning a corporate money making endeavor, and they're more interested in design than they are in I believe it was Underskin. I think they're more interested in design than they are in having a cultivated identity that comes from the owner who started it. Yeah. No, 100%. It's also the reason I don't like Labo fragrances, really. They don't speak to me in any capacity. Um, you know, uh, it's that idea where if you remove the human element, if you remove the emotional aspect, the artistry of it, because that's the thing, like someone who can recreate something really well, like let's say someone who remakes painting but doesn't cultivate their own style, are they an artist or are they just reproducing something? I maintain the idea that art does require creative nuance and purposeful choices being made by someone as opposed to just producing something. And Balda Freak as a fragrance to me, that's just it's like, hey, make me a clean girl fragrance. We'll put it in a really normal bottle, and then we'll do gangbusters, and it's like good for them. But I don't know. The yeah, there's that as a brand. Yeah, it's odd to me, but sometimes still makes for good fragrances, but it's almost by chance. Yeah, right. Like broken clock is right twice a day kind of thing. It feels that way sometimes. But I suppose it's also like if you bring in quality perfumers, you're going to get quality product. Um, because I would argue that anyone that in perfumery that is like a known perfumer, like if you are, and most of them already have their own houses, but I would argue like if Fanny Ball decided that she wanted to go start her own house, she'd probably produce way more intriguing things than she's been tasked with, and she's made some really great ones. Um, but you know, that's kind of the idea. Is I would be interested to see if there is like perfumers that once they don't have a brief and it's just on their own, that their work would actually suffer. I don't think that that is possible. Hmm. Yeah, reproducing famous works, but there's also learned structure behind them. Yeah, it's to understand the context. It's to understand because that's always the thing, right? No one comes up with anything immensely original in any capacity. Everything's building on things, right? Like we all are standing on the shoulders of giants. Like that's always, I mean, pretty sure like that's what this video was all about too, was the idea of like context matters, history matters, tradition matters. That's and understanding those allows you to then be able to play with those things in a much more meaningful way. So I get that. All right. Let's print this label now that I've been talking for so long. Siesta. Ramon. On Regal. Monegal. Ramon. Monegal. I have to say, being able to talk to people makes this much more enjoyable than just sitting here doing them by myself. So thanks for joining me. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Like, I think that if anyone is at that high of a level there's no way that you don't know what came before you. Like, let's be real, how many people are pretty much doing how many people looked at Shalimar and went, "Let's just do that." You know? Like, so many of them are like that, right? Where it's just, "Yeah, that thing, it smells great. How can I riff on this?" You know? Um, but yeah, uh, I think there's also an interesting thing in perfumery where it's like, if we're talking about stuff that, like, smells good, there's already a pretty considerable backlog of things that just smell pleasant. Um, oh, no worries, dude. I just decided to hop on here and start throwing them around. But yeah, um, Brian, though, while I have you, you already smelled this, right? The Enigma of Typh. Just want to be sure. I think you said you smelled this one already because I think I'm gonna send this over to Neil and Austin. Ah, from Hugascent. I've heard of that place. Small business, woman owned. No, Ofen I got it at a we have a store. It's about an hour or so away, called Scent Room. It's in Dallas. And so I bought it there 2 days ago. Um this is 15 ml of a decant and then me because I've been wearing it. Yeah. Yeah. There, I think there's like one other brand, or one other place that carries it. I have to look more because this is going to be a problem if like I get through the winter and this is all gone. I'm going to need it. Um, the the other one, Brian, you'll have to refresh my memory. Have you smelled this one? I know Neil has. Austin hasn't. Love Marriage. This is one that you won't want to wear until it gets like to, I don't know, 75. Okay, I'll give you a bit of this too. This one's very pretty. Um, it's dense. I think you'll like it though. Yeah, this brand's cool. We're gonna do a review of it today, or not today, but together, because this brand, it's got a fun thing where at the bottom of it, it's got a decant of something called Mystery 2, which haven't smelled because didn't want to ruin the mystery, wanted to get a live reaction of it. But it's literally like this decant of something where I don't know if it's something that they actively have or it's like in development, but that's kind of fun. So still don't know what it smells like, but that'll be for when we end up doing the video. But this is a cool brand, also well priced. Um, and this one's cool too because there's like three friends. Um, but yeah. So I mean, in the video, I talk about where this actually comes from, where the hand shape actually comes from, because yeah, it's the papal blessing, but the idea behind it is that the Peter, the first pope, uh, in essence, some people try to say that this is a representation of the Trinity, Father, Son, Holy Spirit, and that's how the Pope blesses people. But in actuality, there was a distinct possibility that the original Pope actually had a nerve had nerve damage, ulvar nerve damage, I believe is what it's called. So these fingers actually couldn't be lifted. So his hand would be like this if he was trying to if you were to say stop, if you have damage in you from that nerve, your hand would be like this. It makes it difficult for these two fingers actually to flex. So that and I referenced that and included the article that I found that in, which is super intriguing from a historical standpoint. I wasn't aware of that. I'd heard about the Trinity thing. That's fairly common idea within like Catholic apologetics, but yeah, that one was a fun one to research and find out more about. All right, these two, because Neil has smelled this one before. Yeah, no, and then the Catholic Church as an organization tends to be about tradition, so all the popes after him just continue to do it because referencing the previous pope. Makes sense. But yeah, that one was intriguing. That whole I'm pretty proud of that video. I really liked it. It definitely feels more like a video essay than a fragrance review, but that was kind of the goal, was to make it that way. Because I think that if people can do video essays about everything under the sun, um, then like I've been watching. I watch video essays by a guy named Monty Zander, and his are all about video game deep dives. And he definitely was an inspiration for that video because um, he like has done deep dive stuff about. Don't worry, Brian. You've missed out on quite a bit of it. Just and there won't be a VOD, I don't think, because I don't have enough people for VODs on my channel. But um, the Monty Zander guy, he's done like sorry, Blaine. Um, remember, I told you that I think it smells nice after initial spray, so I can't I can't be found liable for that. But um, like Monty Zander, he's done he does critiques of various video games. Like he did this awesome critique of um, all the Bioshock series. Talked about not only like gameplay, story, all that, but then also goes into like the political ideology and things of that nature that the story is founded upon, the philosophical ideas as well. But um, it's I definitely wanted to do more of that where it's like you know give these artistic creations the what they're what I think they deserve. And also what people consuming content I think deserve. I think people deserve more than just someone spraying a fragrance on and then, in a shorts clip going like, this is crazy. Here's the link. I don't know. I think people deserve more than that. That's also why I watch people like Leaked. So I don't really watch any creators nowadays that just go, here's a very simplistic analysis of a thing. Go buy it. Because that's dumb. You put a video out today. What do you mean you have a lot to catch up on? I get it. I know what you mean. I know what you mean. You're like, oh yes, I put something out today, but I need to put out more. I get it. That's me with a bunch of these things, like the ambery glove fragrance. I think I'm just gonna literally film a video and be like, and do a "it just smells good" episode on that. Um, nice. Yeah, batch recording, that's I intended on doing a batch recording day where I recorded a few other things, but like this one, this is Alien Fruits 3003. And this thing, like this, I was in the middle of batch recording it, and then this was like the same day I did the Wave Child recording, and this broke. The bottle was broken in transit basically, so I had to get a new bottle for it and all that stuff. And then it turned out to not be that great, so I was like, I'm not even gonna make a video about it. It's just not something where I'd be like, hey, this fragrance is fine. It is not worth even a discount of like $100 rate that I paid for it. I was like, I don't find it to be that way. It's not really something I'm interested in. Yeah. Um, the meta commentaries, like again, I've got ones that, like the Sorcinelli one that I did, I wrote a script for. Like I wrote a script. I I think I used like 13 different sources for research. Now, granted, for me that process took a day, because I'm still in summer from school. But those videos definitely become more difficult when it's like, hey, you got time after work? I don't know how much time I have after work to sit down and read through a Vogue article or an interview and then write it down and then contemplate things and look at them. But um, and I'm someone who, like, I have academic training to do those things. Like that's what my degree was. That's what I did in college. That's what I still do now. Research and things of that nature. So it's fun though. It's fun. But yeah, no, I 100% get the idea. Um, so who are you going to be live on, Joel? You gonna can you is it just let me see here. Said live on Giaconda's Lounge. Let me look that up so that I have it in my history so we can refer back to it. Okay, I think I found it. Gotcha. Okay. Gotcha. Hey, Mitch. Get this one in here. But yeah, the meta commentary stuff, like yeah, I know for me, as much as like I enjoy watching um you know videos where it is just like you're the Dries Van Noten one where you're going to be describing the fragrances and the things of that nature. Like I enjoy those, watching those myself. um and I don't think every video needs to be like a meta commentary thing. Like um you know I think that you get to a point where there's that interesting balance of Um, I think it's important to have, you don't want a steady diet of candy where candy is your, you know, top 10 or stuff like that. Um, but, you know, yeah. Oh, yeah. I don't know when I'm gonna find a Dries Van Noten fragrance to smell, but I'll watch that video. Um, that's kind of the funny thing about it, right? I just enjoy your presentation style, and you as a person are engaging and fun to watch, and I think that that's the key aspect of it. I don't I will say that most of the time, the fragrance content that I'm watching, it tends to be people that I have, you know, like right now, I think if I were to say who I'm subscribed to, I watch Mitch, Fragrance Time Mitch, not Rich Mitch, not because I have a beef with Rich Mitch or anything. I just don't. Haven't really ever watched his content. He's the guy with the rubber duck, I think, right? That's um, his icon. But yeah, Brian, I think that there's a couple places in NYC that has them. I wouldn't be shocked. Um, so it's like Mitch, Openleaked, um, mostly fragrances. I am mostly just fragrances, I believe. Actually, is that what it is? His. I watch his. He's got some good interview stuff. Um, Neil, obviously. Uh, they that I watch Cuba No. Still watch Cuba. I think Cuba is I think for me, Cuba is arguably my favorite of like the quote unquote old guard of fragrance content, because he himself does kind of what I always do as well, is that I'm approaching this from like how I feel about things and what I want to do. And I'm not trying to come off as an expert. I think, yeah, Mitch, I think Kuba and Ja are very funny together. I will say, like, my favorite Kuba videos, the video of him and Ja talking about the fragrances that they wore when they were kids, that to me is the perfect Kuba video. Um, it's just that's what fragrance is to me so much more. Like the last video he put out where it was him talking about a conversation, talking about the idea of like, um, it sounded very like a niche snobs like topic where it was like, hey, these are how algorithms work. Hey, these people that are influencers, yeah, they're trying to influence you to buy stuff because that's how they make a living. Some of them are doing it in a way that's not really good. Um, but also at the same time, the consumer needs to have some accountability. Um, you know, I think that that is perfectly reasonable as a take. I think where my problem is always going to be, yeah, his last video was fantastic, and he's gonna make one that's about his grandfather too. I think soon. That was about one of the scents that oh, the actor's name escapes me, was talking about that he wears because his grandfather wore it. I'm excited about that stuff. And it probably should be fairly obvious that I think that perfume is so much more than like smells nice or things of that nature. So I think that that's why I like him quite a bit. I think that like I wish that when I did my Sorcinelli video, I mentioned that the first time I ever saw a Sorcinelli bottle was a Cuba video, and I wish that I went into detail to talk about that he actually did it correctly, because when you watch his review of it, like yeah, he's making jokes about it and talking about how striking the bottle is, but like he bothered to look up the brand. He bothered to look up what the history of how the fragrances came to be were about. Like, and then he smelled it and described it instead of saying, This smells like a church, but sweet. It's like, dude. And you might say, so the bar isn't that high. It's not, but I'm also not looking. I don't know. I feel like the problem that I will always have with the influencers that are like FB fragrance and those kind of folks is they're very obviously selling to children. Like they know that their analytics are that their presence was formed on an app that is mostly for children, and intelligent consumers and children are there's no crossover there. Children are more likely to buy into the idea that they need to purchase things to make them worthy of attention and love. And I think that uh, I think if any person that gears their content towards children says, "Well, that's not my intention," I think that that's false. I think you need to take some responsibility for yourself and realize that the way in which you present the content that you make affects people. It would be foolish not to think that. And I don't think it's a point of ignorance. I think it's a point of knowingly doing those types of things. Can that also happen to adults? Oh yeah, it happens to adults too. But you know, the adult aspect of it is it's like it is kind of your responsibility. Like openly, you and I have had this chat a few times in streams and things like that, where I applaud your willingness to take a very measured approach to how you are presenting things and going into the future, how you're going to present things that you possibly may have received or things of that nature. Um, but you're not. No offense. No one, no child is really watching your content. I looked at my own analytics and it was very funny because I'm pretty sure they have the 18 to 25 category, and I think I have a 0%. It's all older, so I'm like, yeah, I don't think any kid is looking up my videos to learn about anything. Some of them may have looked at the Wave Child video and went, "What does this guy know?" You I'm just gonna get the dupe. Uh, More power to you, child. But yeah, yeah, I think that's always going to be an aspect to the way that I approach the content that I'm making. Yeah, no, and that's the end of my video where I say it is that deep. That's why. Like I guarantee you, like my students, if they watch my stuff, and I know some of them do, some of them are subscribed, they're just like, yeah, this is just like him in class. And at a certain point, a lot of us would be like, okay, yes, yes, we understand it's important. I'm like, good. I just want to make sure that you understand that it's important. Like the funniest bit of ignorance in that Filippo video is that FB fragrance guy, the Australian gentleman, when he's describing the fragrance that he had purchased, the one that has the nail in it, and he talks about the piece of paper that came with the fragrance, that fragrance that he says he's like, I can't even read this because it's so crazy. Um, that fragrance is about the passion of the Christ. It's literally that's what the nail is in the bottle. Like it's talking about the things that we leave behind from a physical standpoint, but it's about the crucifixion. And that's the thing is I don't think he bothered to read it. I think he was just like, "Oh yeah, it's crazy." It's like, okay. Yeah. No, there's a bunch I can make a whole video about the way in which a lot of ultra niche fragrances are presented by different creators where it's just like, yeah. Well, and that's the thing. Like I'm not going to say that everyone, you know, should understand like Western European canon. Like I get that, you know. that the Western European canon isn't for everyone 100%. But if you are someone like him, you should have at a certain point heard about Jesus. You know, like you live in Western. You know, you're Australian, but it's Western culture, right? So just to not reference that seems um, a bit silly. But you know, I might also be asking a bit too much. I think that um like I know for me, I had like a lot of that information that I was covering in the video, it's you know, I went to college and majored in European history, but a lot of that is just from me paying attention to my European history class when I was in high school. Um, but I understand not everyone does or did. But also, even with things that I don't know about, like perfumery stuff, like why I like watching OpenLeaks videos is because I get a better understanding of raw materials and things of that nature. And I want to learn more as opposed to being ignorant of the things. Yeah, 100%. Like just the bare minimum. It's like, am I applauding the bare minimum on Kuba's part? Yeah, but, you know, yeah. Like he even mentions the idea of the hand being the Pope. But there's, there's a couple of people that I featured. I just feel like Noel's video entirely in that short, like he's an intelligent person very clearly with some of the other content that he's made, not necessarily fragrance related, but he's a cerebral person. But like, I kind of just sat there and was like, dude, just comes off really shitty for you to make something like that. Um, Especially because your audience is kids, like it is. Um, I mean, it's funny to make fun of Italians, right? Like that's what it is for people. Yeah. I think he knows how to pronounce Italian words, but I don't know, dude. I think that I think that you can find I think you can find interesting, humorous aspects to those types of fragrances and things of that nature. Like, I think that there's humor in this. The way that I've described it is I think there's humor in this particular fragrance and like bottle because it is ridiculous. This is ridiculous conceptually. And that's what kind of makes the humor of it all the more intriguing. And I go like this as a but the reason why that's funny is because this is very Catholic coded, not just by the aesthetics, but the idea of what it's trying to do, right? It's this golden glory, all these things, right? That's humorous that it's in a fragrance spray when it looks like it could be something that you would see on a Sunday mass in a European church. Like that's crazy, that's weird, that's interesting. But most people, they just go, "It's a hand, that's wild." And then they stop. But there was a point in the video where I was actually going to talk about the idea of what sacrilege means. And everyone doing all the weird things with the bottles and talk about it. But, like, okay, I'll leave that one out. All right. I'm going to spray this on because it's a little warm. But this is cooling. Delightful. Don't look, Brian. Anyway. Starting to run out of pipettes, actually. You guys might only be getting a bit of them. Well, not a bit, but yeah, yeah. And I think you can. I think Sorcinelli, but has some intriguing aspects to it. Right on. Thanks so much, OpenLink. I look forward to watching the Drees video. Likewise, have a lovely start to yours as well. See you next week. I guess you guys aren't getting Eden Falls decanted because it doesn't work. And even if I take this tip off, it doesn't work. So this one's all for me because I'm not going to spray it into the bottles because that's insane. Sorry. You guys aren't missing much. You're missing a lot. It's really good. I enjoy it a lot, but it's okay. Y'all will live. Okay. Crop Aquel Brutus. Okay, so these two are just for Brian. This one's for Brian. Austin, the fragrance in question relies so heavily on the top that you kind of need it. Austin, I can't remember. Do you have a bottle of this now, or no? Central Instinct, I should say, if you're still cleaning and you're not looking. I forgot if you got it or if it was just okay. You're good on Central. That's right. Okay. So this one will be for you and Neil, because Brian's already tried that one. This one's for you and Brian. And then these last two, including Central Instinct, are just Brian. Yeah. Because how many I've got? Let's see here. Well, no, you've smelled the Swiss Arabian stuff, right, Austin? Enigma of Typh, because you got like a mall near you that carries them, so you can go and smell this. I'm trying to mitigate using. Ooh, amen. I was thinking of getting that. With the I ended up getting Versace's Oud Noir along with that Scandic bottle, because to be honest with you, I keep every time I go to a Sephora that has Tom Ford, I just keep smelling oud wood, but I'm not gonna buy oud wood. So, oh no, I've got more. Okay, we're good. All right, Neil yeah. So this will be for you and Neil then, because Brian smelled Enigma of Typh, right, Brian? Do not listen to him. He is lying to you. If he keeps it up, he's not going to get any decants. I found more. Yeah, I'm excited about that one. It was that I was thinking of, because I smelled Credo from Nishane, and I like that one a lot too. But I'm like, Oud Noir, I think I got it on Fragflex for like $50. I think it was, yeah, it was like $50 before the discount. So now I have to pull out the Austin decants for Crop Aquel, because otherwise, you know, it would be gone in one wearing if it's in the normal ones. I feel like has it been Ofenleaks Hermes discussions that have prompted you to dive so deeply into the house? I know. Yeah. I think that I was like, we'll see. If the Oud Noir is one that like I'm just constantly reaching for that, then then Credo might be the one. Um, yeah, Union, I will agree with you. Though I was saying like for Union Street Crash, if it had cardamom, I think I wouldn't even worry about oud wood or that kind of aspect to it. But I think that's what I want. Um, is that kind of cardamom-y aspect that oud wood has? Yeah, and that was kind of the same thing, where it's like carved oud noir, but it was just like if I'm getting Scandic because I know I want Scandic, and then oud noir just made more sense from a price point that I could find myself uh, adding that on into the cart, so it made more sense because I wasn't gonna do a clone, but I wasn't gonna go for what Woody Ood or whatever the Latafa clone was. It's like, dear God, where they just had those unabashed. I know they've been redesigned now because of it, but those unabashed Tom Ford bottles that were just straight up. I had the peach version of that one. It was always very funny to me. Now my mom has it. I did like H24 when I tried it. I did like it. I like that it's a fresh kind of fragrance that is like green, yellow, floral kind of thing going on. It's green freshness done in a very interesting way. All right, Austin. Hopefully that holds you over until like, winter when it starts for you. Okay. Just Yeah, exactly. What's that? Yeah, Joel was saying the new one. There is a new one. Nah. Yeah, the Altamia. Mykonos. Mykonos. Well, if you throw Akigala wood into a fragrance, it's kind of cheating with my wife. So, not cheating with my wife, that's a bad way to say it. It's a cheat code for my wife to like a fragrance. Akigala wood is. So, that sounds much better than what I said. My apologies. Yeah. Argos Porom 100 ml for 105. That's crazy. I don't know. I was talking a bit earlier with Blaine today that I don't know, dude. I haven't reached for an Argos fragrance since that sort of AI stuff, like all three of mine. I don't think I'll ever get rid of Adonis Awakens just because that was a birthday gift. But I don't know, dude. There's a bit of a bitter taste in my mouth with some of those choices that were made. No, Brian. Aki Galawood is her hall pass. It's okay. Ooh, massage. I I think my first Oman luxury purchase will be Serenity. I think Serenity definitely uh, is up there. Um, Massage, is that the one that's like the fresh one in the dark bottles? I want to say that it is, right? Oh, yeah. That one is very pretty, uh, Joel. That one is very pretty. Yeah. Yeah. I like Caden. Udok Larry is nice. And I know it's just promise, but I get it. Um, I really liked Serenity. I found Serenity actually to be kind of like the first time I ever smelled it, I was like, for this being like an oudi fragrance, it's actually kind of fresh. Then again, it might be because it's my skin, and we all know what happens, it seems, with my skin, where something that has leather, warm, spicy, fresh, spicy, animalic, and oud in the top accords, that I go, ah, yeah. Well, of course, Brian, she has taste. It probably smells insane in this kitchen. I can't tell anymore. Voyage, Voyage. It was too green for me. I think was my problem. I remember I was talking with Neil because he got a bottle of that one. Was it Voyage or Wanderlust? I can't remember. It was Wanderlust that he was talking about. Voyage. Which one is that one? Need to look. Oh, okay. Yeah. Oh, does it smell crazy in here? Does it just smell like this right now? Mostly. Yeah. 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 Yeah, the Argos thing, I think it's pretty simple. I don't think that you can be a brand that highlights the idea of artistry and then use generative AI. I I don't agree with the perception that generative AI is a form of art. I disagree with that. I think art needs to have that human element, and I don't think prompting AI to create something that learned how to create that thing through stealing other people's work. That's I yeah. And you're never going to convince me otherwise. Do I think assistive AI is useful and extremely helpful? Absolutely. Generative AI, in my opinion, no. Like, and you don't need to do it. Like I made an entire 40-minute video where nothing was AI generated. It was all just researched. I just went and read the source, read the interviews, watched the videos, found the photos on the internet. Like, you don't need to use it. You don't need to use it. And nothing was lost um, by me not using it. Like, I don't know. It's weird to me. I disagree with people that don't have a problem with it, but you know, I, yeah, no, assistive AI is perfectly fine. You want something to help write code because you're a programmer, an engineer, fine, nothing wrong with that. You want it to help with organizing your thoughts into salient points, nothing wrong with that. Um, you want it to help you with your grammar, help you like with those types of things. I don't think that's a problem. Creating art, yeah, because it's not art to me. I think art requires a human element. There has to be a construction from humanity in some capacity. Um, just that is my thoughts on it. Yeah. Again, that's fine. Like that's also the thing too. Like when I say those things, unfortunately for a lot of folks that I know, when I make comments like that, they go like, "So you think I'm a bad person?" I'm like, "No, not necessarily." I don't know. I don't think you're a bad person if you use generative AI art to do things. I think you're lazy. I think you're lazy and you shouldn't be lazy when it comes to something that you believe in creating. That's my big problem with the Argos stuff. Using AI art to generate a press release for a online Facebook group that is all of your fans. Dude, if you spent years creating that scent, you can't spend 5 minutes to make a post thanking people for supporting you and having an interest in the things you make. I don't know. That yeah. I'll bring the night vision goggles, Brian. You bring the samurai sword. Um but yeah. Yeah, no. I don't I personally don't like using it in any capacity. People at my work now are even getting like that's one of the we're going to have a AI tool training when we go back to work, and I'm not interested in any capacity. Austin, you are completely correct about that. Where is the line? And I think I found that the line doesn't exist because when I saw that he had AI crudely animate one of these famous paintings of Odysseus and the Sirens, that I went, ah, the line is gone. It does not exist. Wild. No need to do it. No need. No need at all. You did not benefit yourself in any capacity by having a historic piece of art animated like that on the website. I don't know if it's still up on the website in this way, but it was when you went on the Odysseus, the Odyssey Returned page. The other thing too is the art that is now being featured on the bottle isn't even trying to pretend that it is the original painting. If you look at a bunch of the like other fragrances, it was always that way, right? Where it looked like a snapshot of it, but now it's very clearly not because that's not what the original painting looks like. So on the website, and I don't know when this changed. I'm glad it did because I was like, what are you doing? But this, show you. I should have actually just like saved it, a screen recording of it at the time because I was just so blown away. But this image here um, was animated. So I was like, I don't know why we're doing that. It doesn't seem like something we need to do. But yeah. So um, it's weird. It is a interesting kind of thing. I have always kind of said at this point where it's there's a pie chart about Christian as like artist and business owner, and it's definitely not a 50-50 split, and that split definitely isn't in the more artistic side. He's artistic in the sense of him creating fragrances and things like that and building this brand, et cetera, and all that stuff. But at the end of the day, it's business. His background in fashion, where it is both a usable product and art, and has that intersection. that's in there as well. So, did you need help or okay? Um, so yeah, it's um, it's disappointing, but yeah, I just I don't think you need to ever use it. It's just not something that I think you really need to use to for generative purposes. I think that because the thing is, if you can't do it, the cool thing about the world is there's people that can, and you can make connections with people, and they can do the thing for you, and then you build community together. Yeah. No, Blaine, and that's a fair take too. Like he has a very certain way about him that is that could be considered to be off-putting. I get that. Um, but yeah, like yeah, that's my thing. If there was anything in the video that I just made, um, that I made on the Filippo Sorcinelli stuff, if there was something that I was like, man, I really would love for someone to like, I don't know, make a piece of art or like get me a piece of music or something like that. I would try to go out and seek it and be like, yeah, I will pay some money to have you create something for me because I'm literally friends with people that do that for a living. So it would be weird if I was like, yeah, no, I'm just going to use the AI instead. But, you know, I don't know. I was also raised to appreciate art, and I don't think that is something that everyone actually has in their life, unfortunately. Yeah. Um, that's kind of the problem, I think, with it as well. Is that, uh, especially like the people that were on the private group kind of featuring their like, hey, we came up with, or this AI generation of things. It's like, I feel like if you were raised to respect art and appreciate art, you would find it reprehensible to use AI that has been developed through theft of other people's intellectual property that they created. I don't I don't understand how you can see that in any other way. The well is poisoned. The well has been poisoned. By its mere creation, the well is poisoned. Um, and some people might say like, well, that's kind of like you know, a straw man argument. It's like that's fine. I don't really care to talk about the analytical aspects of the arguments that I'm making because I'm just presenting factual information and saying this is what is happening. So, but you know, just a dude with opinions. So, all right, let's see here. So two more for the Swiss Arabian. One for Wave Child, one for Brutus, one for Sensual Instinct. Brian, since I have you here, have you ever smelled this one? 1725 from Histoires des Parfums. Might wear this one tomorrow. Licorice. Have you, Mitch? Well, is there anything else that I have decanted, Mitch, that you've been wondering about? Since I'm here? These are things that I have been decanting. This is stuff that I have right now, Mitch. Okay. If you want to get in on it, say something. 1725. Do you want Mitch? Are you interested in anything else from Histoires des Parfums? The yellow bottle is Nectar Olfactive Serena, the mango oud. You're getting it. Mitch. I need a response, Mitch. I'm trying to send you decants, Mitch. Brian, did you want 1899 as well? Because I have that. I can go grab that. Can also grab 1804. I don't know if you're going to be interested in 1804. It's like super scratchy orange blossom. Yes, the nectar is a tester. Ooh. So what else are you interested in, Mitch? Like, you can also just tell me like stuff that you're interested in. I can kind of pull some things. Yeah, Joel. I think unfortunately that's an aspect of technology at large is that it was designed to breed connection and seems to have made us more isolated as people. It's kind of unfortunate fallout of it. The mango oud. Okay. Let me uh yeah. The Serena was a tester, Brian. It was all olfactive factory. I don't know if it's on there. I got it for like 115. These bottles are kind of like Panadora where they're like expensive. Mango oud. Anything here. Let me see here. 1 second. Okay. Um have you tried this one, Mitch? Brutus from Orta Parisi? I think you would like this one. One second. I'll go grab the Hemingway. Oh, okay. Oh, okay. Ugh. Mhm. Yeah, Brian, I'm gonna get these out to you tomorrow, so you'll be able to try out Serena before. I wouldn't want you to be like, yeah, I'm gonna get it. Blaine, or not Blaine, sorry. Mitch, the Histoires I'll do, and then have you smelled Exit the King from Eldo? Because I will send you some of that. Because I love this stuff. And then I also will send you some of this. Okay. This one as well. kind of start you off a little bit. Okay. Let me toss that over here. Okay. So yeah, liquid gold is something. It's very good. Okay. Let's do this then. Okay. Feel like I should no build boxes yet. It's fine. We'll just keep moving forward. Okay. And did you say? Let me see here. If you said um, yeah, we'll do. Let's put this in there. This stuff is so good. Oh no. That's right. It's a weird one. That's right. Okay. You know, it's funny. Order Parisi having like the worst samples where they have like the roll-on samples, but then their bottles to decant out of are like sick because they just go straight up with ease. All right, and then another Serena. Also, I have been taping these with Scotch tape because unfortunately I can't find my plumber's tape, and I wasn't about to go to the store at this point because it's 100 degrees outside and I didn't want to leave the house. So I'm sure it'll be fine. But these are pretty good bottles for not getting destroyed. But that, another Brutus. I agree, Joel. I think that the house as it stands has quite a few fragrances that make it a worthwhile thing to check out. There's a couple more that I definitely want to explore. Specifically, is Dom Rosa, Lunatic, a couple of those ones that seem really cool. But I think you're both going to like this one. I like this one a lot. I think, Austin, you said Brutus was kind of like a little bit more of a, not as like heavy gourmandy, not gourmandy, but like a lighter, quote unquote, pardon, because it's a patchouli heavy fragrance, but it's really good. Hey, Solo. Fortis, that is another one from the house that I definitely need to take a look at 100%. Fortis is another one, definitely. Brutus. So Parisi. And then I appreciate you being here. I really want to reiterate how much I appreciated your feedback on the Filippo Sorcinelli video as well. Just because, like, you kind of you took away from it exactly what I had hoped people would take away from it. That again, that line of silly to sacred still like sticks with me. I think that that is like the perfect encapsulation of kind of what I was trying to accomplish there. So I really appreciate your time and your thoughts on it. All right. Yeah, I've only ever smelled Udacolaria, so I can't speak to those ones, but um yeah, those Frederick Malls are kind of insane. I'm interested in them. So Austin, what you're telling me is you want another 10 ml of this one, the Hemingway, is what you were saying? Yeah, I mean, yeah. I have to go someplace that actually has Frederick Malls. I'm gonna try to find one. It's again, I will say purely just looking at this table right now with what I have on here, I don't need to be charging anybody for any fragrances in any capacity. Too much of this shit. But no, I got you. Um, if you have, yeah, I would say, Austin, um, if you wanted to send me, like, I would love to smell like Musk Ravageur and a couple of those other things, like that we've talked about that I don't have. Um, I'd take some of those in exchange. Some of that kind of cool stuff you've been enjoying. Um, you know, you don't have to send me stuff from like the pear fat, like the small bottles. Don't worry about that. Like I don't want to take the stuff that you have, but if you got some of those things, I think that that would work for me. Okay, let's see here. Okay, everybody's getting 18.99. I have not smelled Sultani. That one would be a good one for me. It's yeah, Brian. I mean, like, let's be real. I am I think next week what I might do is pull all of the dupes that I have because I think I wear like two of them. I think I'm gonna pull all the other dupes that I have and go on Facebook Marketplace and be like $100. You can have all like 20 of these. Get them out of my house. Like that's where I'm at. And then start to sell some of the other stuff that I don't wear, but that stuff will be things that are priced in a more acceptable thing. Sure. Yeah, I love polo fragrances. don't care about myself. The fragrance, that is. I don't care about that one. My favorite myself is the original, so it's like I don't really need to smell any more explorations of that DNA, to be honest. Yeah, merch would be funny. I still think one of the best fragrance related merches is Zernell Gillies um, Damn I Smell Good shirts. Those are fun. Yes, yes, Brian. Exactly. Come on. Y'all are making me work for these Histoires de Parfums bottles. I don't know what the deal is. I haven't tried Neo, no. And yeah, the unspoken gesture. Yeah, I'm down to. As someone who doesn't have an extensive culinary background, shrimp toast is not going to be probably what I think of that. But what form? What did I do? Yeah, sure. I mean, I really like. I have that Renaissance cooling spray that I think I got one time with a Fragflex order, like during one of their sales, and it smells lovely. Um, and then, uh, I mean, Mephisto's great too. Yeah, I still think at a certain point, I think at some point I will own Tony Iommi. It'll just be one of those ones where I just won't wear around the wife because she wasn't a big fan of that one, but I really liked it. The original one, not deified. The syringe skills, yes. Well, I'm no Joe A. Decants, but I try. Wulong Cha, it's been a minute. EG, I don't know, because isn't that super like violet heavy? I can smell a Chanel edition Blanche kind of wherever, and I already have enough like lemon vanilla fragrances. Um, I'm trying to think. What is one? Okay, yeah, sure, those two work. Wulong Cha and EG. EG. Oh yeah, that's right. Blanche is the one where it's website exclusive. You're right. Muse, you have the tiny bottles, so no. I'm not taking anything from 30 mLs. That's the same thing. And I say that I'm not taking anything from 30 mLs is because I've decanted too much of my Zernel Gilly stuff. Otherwise, I would offer to decant that for Mitch because he's a music guy, and so it makes sense, and it would be a cool video for him. But I'm running out of my stuff, my ZG stuff, and I'm trying to like not have to rebuy his because I'm gonna because if he releases that Sun Explorer, that's one of the things I'm buying there. Unless it's just like something that I really don't vibe with. I'm excited to see where that goes. So much of that ZG house is so cool. Like where you could take that stuff, like classical, like right, or like it literally, baroque. If he makes like a super ambery fragrance and calls it like baroque music, oh fuck yeah, dude, that'd be so sick. That'd be so sick. Be so sick. Reggae, get some island vibes, a little bit of cannabis note in there. Could be fun. Could be fun. Why am I closing this? I have to do it like 3 more times. Yeah. Like again, this is 3 decants in 2 days. Now I will say the 2 days is a lot of me. Zydeco, oh my god, dude, yeah. Polka just smells like pierogies and fortified plum wine or something. I will say, if you're doing like Polish stuff, I am one of the houses I am excited to try in New York is Wolf Brothers. So I think because like Polish, there's a lot of cool stuff with that Polish stuff. Port wine fragrance, yeah, dude, that is the wrong cap. There we go. Yeah, port wine. Um, that was the one I think. Ska, yes. Pick it up, pick it up, pick it up. Yeah. Port wine fragrance, like that's why there's a couple from Liquide Imaginaires that I think has like Damarosa, I believe is one of them. It's like a red wine, kind of fruity red wine thing. Yeah. Yeah. There's I think that one is that's the like extrait of Wolf, which sounds good to me. It sounds kind of it's that piney blackberry sort of thing. Well, not that one's not piney and blackberry. There's another one that it's based off of. It's like they're like a type of water buffalo. That one I think also is like vanilla and kind of stuff like that. And they have a bear one. It's like honey. Sounds fun. I will agree the red bottle does look the best. Looks very pretty. Very cool. I realize what would also be a funny Zernel Gilly fragrance would be like he just makes something that's just the most obscenely like easy list or easy like you know almost like a clean girl scent and call it easy listening. But yeah, yeah, yeah. Thank you. I think I'm actually gonna call it because I'm gonna take a bit of a break here and grab something to eat and hang out a bit just because I've been at this for 3 hours and hunching over. Uh, filling these is getting to a point where I like to take a little bit of a break. So, um, to everybody, Mitch, are you still here? Yeah, elevator music for a ZG Freight. That's a good. These are just Brian. Why aren't you writing these down and just shipping them to him for April's Fool's jokes? Really, is what it is. But um, Mitch, if you hear this, you can hit me on the email address on that's on the page, and I can get your info so I can ship these over to you. Or you can also hit me up on Instagram, whatever works. I don't know if you're on Insta or YouTube has messaging features now. Whatever, we'll get it figured out. For those of you that joined me today, thank you so much. For those of you that chatted, all the usuals, Joel, Blaine, Brian, Austin, Openly, Solo, everybody, thank you so much. Hope you have a great start to your week. And yeah, I think that's about it. Wherever you're at, hope you're having a good rest of your evening, afternoon, morning. And I look forward to speaking with you again soon. Take care.